The officer's sword hilt accidentally hit a bottle of sulfuric acid. Then all the acid poured into his boots. The officer couldn't help screaming, but all of this was a trap set by the woman. It turned out that the woman had noticed the officer's sword always swung from side to side, so she deliberately placed the acid bottle on the corner of the table and moved the chair, causing the officer to knock over the bottle. The woman was just a nurse, but she knew all kinds of ways to kill people by making accidents happen. She planned to get rid of all the enemy soldiers through an accident. The woman first took a box of sugar cubes and a bottle of alcohol from the hospital office. She then stuffed a few sugar cubes under the main door, moved the bracket closer to the window, changed the direction of the stacked alcohol, and finally pushed the shelf to the opposite side of the box, making the hallway crowded. Next, the woman went to the hall, where many enemy soldiers were waiting for treatment. She saw the doctor's glasses were fogged up, so she deliberately handed the bottle of alcohol to the doctor. The doctor mistook the alcohol for water and poured it all into the pressure cooker, which was filled with needles that needed to be sterilized at high temperatures. Then the woman left the hall with a bottle of water and deliberately spilled it on the floor. The water flowed along the wall and reached the door propped up by the sugar cubes. Before long, the alcohol evaporated in the high-temperature pressure cooker, and all the enemy soldiers in the hall began to feel dizzy. At that moment, the woman went to the electrical room, adjusted the oil lamp, turned off the circuit breaker, and finally dripped some water on the fuse switch. When the officer noticed the power outage, he immediately sent a soldier to check. However, the sugar cubes had already melted completely. The door suddenly opened and hit the floor stand beside it. The stand shattered the glass, and the glass hit the pressure cooker in the hall. The enemy soldiers were puzzled. Suddenly, the pressure cooker exploded due to the pressure, and the needles flew directly at the enemy soldiers, causing chaos in the hall. At this moment, the enemy soldier who had gone to the electrical room picked up the oil lamp and turned on the circuit breaker, which caused a short circuit. On the other side, the dazed enemy soldiers ran outside, knocking over the box of alcohol. When the officer arrived at the main door, he found it locked from the inside. He fired a warning shot to tell the soldiers not to move, but just at that moment, the soldier carrying the oil lamp came back. By the time the officer realized there was something wrong with the oil lamp, it was too late. The oil lamp, which the woman had tampered with, fell to the ground, ignited the alcohol on the floor, and caused a huge fire. All the enemy soldiers were burned to death. The woman, who had created this accident, took the opportunity to leave the hospital.